What is going on, guys? Theo here, back with another Marvel Strike Force video. Hopefully you guys are having a very fantastic day. Today, guys, I'm going to be going over the importance of making goals in Marvel Strike Force and maintaining those goals going forward, and how you should not really deviate from what the goals that you are making and how you can really stick to them. A lot of people will tend to randomly equip gear on random characters because maybe it says equip all, or maybe they'll, put random T4s in characters, or they'll start building a character and then they'll just completely forget about the full team. A lot of things that you can really be avoiding to actually help maintain your roster and build more efficiently going forward. Having those goals is definitely going to be a very good thing that you can do in your gameplay, and that'll make your goals more efficient. But if you do enjoy this video, guys, please be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm definitely going to be posting a ton of Marvel Strike Force content, and I really am glad that you guys are enjoying it very, very much. But anyways, guys, let's get into the intro. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another Marvel Strike Force video. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. So, just getting straight into the video here, I have about 5 points that I really wanted to make about how you can really maintain your goals and how you can really, make your progress super efficient in Marvel Strike Force without having to waste any of your resources and still get the benefits that you are going to get just from building them to a certain point. So the first point that I'm going to make is you should only build a character to a point where they're going to do what you need them to do. And I have the biggest example right here, as I mentioned several times in my videos before, Emma Frost. Yes, this is a great example of building a character to a certain point and not overbuilding and still having them do exactly what they need to do. I have her at level 80, gear tier 15, and she does exactly what I need her to do without fail every single time. All she needs to do is survive enough to get her passive off, which will apply the negative 10% speed to all enemies, and then, having her ultimate and her special T4 has given me quite the benefits as well, as it gives me it clears all positive effects instead of some, and then this will also clear all negative effects from your characters. So those T4s have gotten me the value right there, and then I haven't really needed to level her up anymore. The only benefit that I would get from leveling her up is giving, maybe surviving one extra hit or two. But yes, I've mentioned this in several of my videos before, but that is something that I do, preach to a lot of players, is to stop building when it isn't, just until you get to a point where they're doing exactly what you need. And then another example that I do have here is my friend Red Guardian. He does exactly what he needs to do at gear tier 14, and that is to be a pre-taunting tank so that I can get the enemies to attack him instead of an enemy that I don't like. And basically it's a way for them to, attack this guy instead of attacking someone else that I don't want them to attack. And then having him at gear tier 14 is good enough for me. He survives at least one hit, which is perfect. And then I have his passive here, which on spawn applies, gain 20% max health. Sorry, that's his T4. That's the whole reason. It just gives him and then on spawn apply speed up to self-skill to military allies. That doesn't matter. I just basically did the passive to give him an extra 20% max health. And that is, sorry, I just did the wrong one there. And that's all I really need him to do is survive, right? So that was good enough for me. But that's one point that I really wanted to make. If you have a goal of having these characters do a certain thing in that match, don't overbuild them just because you want to see the numbers grow. And I've mentioned this before in several of my videos, but yes, you don't want to just build them up randomly, and that is that. So here's another point that I'm going to make is don't upgrade randomly, always have a purpose. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So here is Magic. I have Magic hearted here. Uncanny X-Men was a team that I very, very much looked forward to building. They were very cool. I really thought they were a super fun team and to build. So I was in the process of upgrading Magic, and I did T4s on her, and I'll show you guys right here how that really went for me. So I have it hearted here as my first team here, and as you can see, I have them at 395k, and I have never used these guys in any game mode, and it's basically I wasted my T4s and I wasted my gear because I never use these guys anywhere, and it was a waste of my stuff. And that was something that I regretted doing because it was, I did it on impulse. I thought that I was going to use them one day, and I upgraded them randomly. I was like, you know what, randomly one day I was like, I'm just going to upgrade Magic, and then now I never use her, and now I have lost those T4s, and I'm never going to get those back. So that's just something that you really want to look out for, is just, don't randomly look at Quicksilver right here and be like, oh, I'm going to level him up to level 90 right away. I mean, he is a good character, but still, keep your goals, evaluate what you're going to do and see what you're going to get the value from them, and see if you're actually going to end up using those characters in the future, and if they're going to hold or maintain value going forward. Because once I started building Magic, they were basically getting crept out of the meta already once I started building her, so there was really no point in me investing those T4s into her. I wanted to use that team one day, but then I just never got around to it, and now it was a waste of my stuff that I could have used on another team. So that's another point that I wanted to make there. And then number 3 is to don't be afraid to have multiple goals at once. So what do I really mean by this? Well, if you look at my top of my roster here, I have Deathpool, Gambit, She-Hulk, Cloak, Agatha, all hearted here. These are the main goals that I had, and Quicksilver. Yes, these are 6 characters that I'm working on all at once right now. So right now I'm working on Cloak. I wanted to get him to gear tier 16 because I do want to take him into Dark Dimension, probably Dark Dimension 6, based off of what I've seen for the new Warriors. They are going to be probably the best city characters in my opinion. So I am working on Cloak. I just finished up my dagger as well. This is my dagger down here, but that's what I mean by having multiple goals. Where's my dagger? There she is. I just finished her up, level 90, gear tier 16. I have all her tier 4s maxed out because I do believe she is a great character. But I'm also working on my Apocalypse characters, and I can actually craft a piece right now. I just don't have the gold right now. And then I haven't done any for tier 4s because their tier 4s are trash. But yes, I have multiple goals going on right now. I want to have my Deathpool built up. I'm working on all my Apocalypse characters. I was also working on all my raid characters. So, I just finished up my raid teams. Let me show you guys. I just finished up the invaders as well. But that's what I mean, right? Like, I had multiple goals going on at once. While I was building my Apocalypse characters, I was building up my invaders, and I was also building up my Rebirth, and I was building up my, all the raid teams that are coming out in Bionic Avengers. And then I still ended up making my Apocalypse characters all the way to gear tier 16 on the side while I was doing my other stuff. So yes, you can have multiple goals in this game at once, so don't be afraid to actually go off a little bit and build for multiple game modes, especially if these are your more long-term goals. Like if you're building towards Apocalypse, or if you're building toward Dark Dimension, you're probably going to have to wait for gear in the long run. So it's not going to hurt you to really go for other teams as well in the background while you're waiting for those gear pieces to show up, or if you're waiting for tier 4s, stuff like that, because I was able to build all my raid teams here while waiting for the gear pieces that I needed for Apocalypse teams, right? So that was something that I, was able to do. Those are my goals, and I maintained those goals, right? Like, I didn't deviate from what I was doing. I didn't randomly go and build Wakandans, or I didn't randomly go and build the Underworld team just because, they were basically a side team for different game modes like War and Cosmic Crucible. I didn't build too much into Masters of Evil just because I didn't think that they were going to be, that great, in my opinion. And even still, I don't think Masters of Evil is that great of a team. The only reason they're not great right now is because they're forced to attack Wakandans, which is whatever. But yes, they are a good team, but they're just, like Absorbing Man. I'm not going to get the value out of him right now, so I didn't build him up. And that's a goal maybe that I'll have in the future if I end up needing Absorbing Man, but right now I just don't need him, right? So there's really no point in me building him up. I plan on taking Quicksilver into the Nova Scourge instead of Absorbing Man, and then the rest of these 4. So that's my goals, and that's the goal that I have, and that's why I have, that's why I have Quicksilver hearted here as well, is because he is a side goal that I do plan to work on eventually once I'm done building up my Cloak and my Deathpool, because I want to finish my new Warriors first, and probably Firestar as well. That's why I have her hearted as well, because I am going to build her as soon as I can. But that's my point number 3. Point number 4, guys, adapt as you go. Yes, so what do I mean by adapt as you go? Stop building if it isn't good anymore. Yes, so let me show you an example here. My symbiotes are massive, right? 760,000. These were the meta back in the day, the meta raid team. But, they got power crept, and I adapted, and I didn't build them any further than that because they were getting power crept, and I knew that they were going to get power crept, and I knew there was going to be a new team that was going to replace them, being the Web Warriors. But I stopped building them just because I have them built up all the way to gear tier 15, just because I can equip all on them, and I can bring them all to gear tier 16. It's not going to help me in the long run, and they're out of the meta. They're completely useless now. And then obviously the same thing goes with the Web Warriors as well. Web Warriors are completely out of the meta. Just adapt. If you're already building them and they're being power crept, or there's a new team coming out that's going to replace them, don't be afraid to say, you know what, it's time for me to stop. I don't want to invest in these guys anymore because they're going to get completely power crept, and even though I've already invested a good amount into them, don't be afraid to just stop and adapt to the meta and just say, I'm gonna stop completely and not build these guys anymore. And that's what I mean, just adapt as you go. You know, if the arena meta is changing, start changing your arena meta. You like stop building, you know, like stop building characters that you like. Darkhold, right? Darkhold was the arena meta, but now you don't need to build them up past level 90 gear tier 17 because there's really no point. They're not the arena meta anymore, and level 90 gear tier 17 is going to get you the big boy apocalypse, so there's really no point in taking them all to level 95. If that makes sense, right? Like you could take them to 95 and keep building them up and make them massive. They are still a great team, but you know, there's really no point to anymore. You're not going to get any benefit from doing that right now. Like, I mean, you could, but in all Jesus, I can't speak. In all honesty, it's not worth it. You may as well wait and see what the meta is going to be in the future for level 95. So that's what I mean. Just stop building if it's not going to be worth it for you anymore, and, you know, adapt to the meta as you go. And then number 5, the final point that I wanted to make is always evaluate the value of what benefits you'll get from that goal and if it's worth it. Yes. So what do I mean by that? Well, evaluate the benefits. So if you look at, like, let's say the Archangel team or the Death Seed team, right? So these guys are going to be going to level 95 for me all the way. And why is that? Because the value of them just keeps going up and up by the day. They're still a great team. They're good in raids. They're probably the best raid team in the game. They're going to be needed for the incursion raids. They are a fantastic team in general. They're being used in multiple game modes, Cosmic Crucible, War. They're going to be in the next raid team, right? So this is a team that I would say is worth the value of what I'm going to be putting into them. And another good point as well to evaluate the value is Quicksilver himself. So he's not, in my opinion, valuable enough to take all the way up to gear tier 17, you know, with 5 red stars. In fact, I don't think I'm going to be taking him past level 80 gear tier 15. I'm only going to be taking him up to the certain minimum that I need for him to do well in the Nova Scourge, and that's about it. He could be used in the meta in the future. We don't know how good he's going to be at 7 stars, 5 red. He might be one of the best characters in the game. I'm not too sure, but the value right now just isn't there for me to start building him all the way up to gear tier 16 right away. And it's just not going to hold the value that I want it to in the future. He is still on my goals list, so it's something that I do want to do. It's just, you know, it's not worth it for me right now to take him up all the way past that. Maybe we'll see how many T4s I'm going to do, but that's just the point I'm trying to make, is really evaluate the value that you're going to be getting out of all these characters. Like Red Hulk, the value in his red stars is huge, right? Because the more red stars he has, the more damage his bleeds are going to do, and the more powerful he's going to be. So there is the value in those red stars, right? Like, you got to evaluate things based off their tier 4s, their red stars, their abilities, everything. You just got to really, really look at them and their levels, their gear tier. Everything that you can really see that you're going to get the value out of is how you're supposed to look at it, and to really maintain those goals of how strong you really want them to be, and if you're going to be getting a lot of value out of those goals, right? And that's the whole point of this video. Just wanted to make that video and let you guys know that it's really, really important that you keep goals in this game and that you maintain those goals and don't deviate from what you're trying to do, because in the long run, it can really, really hurt your roster. And I'm just trying to help you guys as you grow through the game, to, you know, as the game grows and continues on, is to really focus on what you're going to do and have plans, right? Don't just randomly deviate from your plans, start T4ing random characters, or start randomly building up teams just because you saw a video on how good they are. You know, keep your goals, maintain like what you're gonna do, and then until you finish those goals and then you have them doing what you want them to do, then you could start to think about maybe starting to build some other things in the future. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm definitely gonna be posting a lot of Marvel Strike Force content in the future, so I very, very much appreciate all of you guys that like and subscribe all the videos. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out.